A lot of filmmakers these days make the rookie mistake of grabbing a camera and hitting record before they've had a chance to really dissect and get familiar with the script. I've done it myself. I've wrote a script. It's been absolutely amazing. The characters are amazing. There are so many beatings that are going to happen in the script. And I just want to grab the camera. It's new. The lens is new. Everything's amazing. I just want to get it shot and done. Then boo-boos happen. So today, I'm going to guide you through everything the director needs to know about the script, the actors, the portrayal, before he ever grabs the camera and says action. Right, so let me read you the script anyway so we know exactly what page we're on. So, it's called The Wrong Table. Scene 1, external shot, outside a cafe, daytime. Title sits at a small two-person table, casually scrolling through her phone. She's watching TikTok. She's got TikTok brain. A half-emptied ice coffee sits in front of her. She looks slightly bored. Mark enters the scene. He looks incredibly nervous, checking his phone screen, then looking up at the table numbers. He is holding a single rose. Mark, seeing Title, and takes a deep breath and approaches. Clears his throat, nervous. Excuse me, Siripon? Title? Title looks up from her phone. She sees the anxious guy, the single rose, and the expectation in his eyes. She realises the mistake instantly. A spark of mischief hits her face. She decides to play along. Smiling, warmly, leaning in. Yes, finally. I was starting to think you got cold feet. Mark, massively relieved, sitting down quickly. Oh, thank you. I'm Mark, by the way. I've been walking around the block for 10 minutes trying to build up the courage to come in. You look great. Exactly like your profile picture. Title, really? Because usually people tell me I look completely different in person. Deceptive even. Mark laughs nervously. No, not at all. If anything, you're a pleasant surprise. I half expected to be catfish today. Title, smirking. Oh, I definitely like to keep things interesting. I think life is boring if you always follow the script. Mark, exactly. Like, take this date. We don't know anything about each other. It's a total gamble. For all you know, I could be an axe murderer. Title, and for all you know, I could have a thick one down here. She points down twice on her lap. No need to hint or tell you what she was pointing at or referring to. Mark, honest, I highly doubt that. There's an unfakeable and pure feminine heart that comes from you. I'm already glad I showed up. Title looks at him. His genuine kindness and sincerity catches her off guard. The playful, deceptive smirk melts off her face for a brief second. She genuinely likes this guy. Softly, yeah, me too. Suddenly, over Mark's shoulder in the background, Siripon walks into the patio. She's holding her phone up, looking around at the tables and looking lost. Title's eyes follow Siripon. She looks back at Mark, realising the fun game is officially over. She sighs softly, her posture changing. Mark, you really are incredibly charming. Mark, smiling with bright eyes. Thanks. You too. Title, standing up, throwing her bag over her shoulder. But I'm not Siripon. And your actual date? Just walked in behind you. Mark. Mark freezes, his smile dropping. He looks confused, blinking up at her. Wait, what? Title? Title reaches down, gently taps her shoulder or pats his hand and gives him a reassuring smile. Good luck, Mark. Don't lose that rose. Title walks out of the frame. Mark slowly turns around in his chair. In the background, Siripon spots him, notices the rose and smiles and walks towards his table. The end. Okay, so breaking this down a little bit. I've put that she's got TikTok brain and that she's bored because if you're aware of what TikTok brain is, what they say is because you get these little tiny snippets of entertainment. So when you get bored, you just keep going up more and more and more until you get something that's nice. So basically, what happens over a long period of time is your attention span kind of gets more used to instant fun, instant gratification rather than a build-up. So that's the kind of person that she is. She's also a modern person with a modern phone because it's TikTok. So we're kind of getting the picture here that she's a nice, young, modern, highly active, impulsive kind of a person. And she's bored. Mark looks nervous, has a single rose. Now, the reason why I've written such a cliche, the single rose, is because everybody and their dog knows quite well that if a guy turns up on the scene and he's holding a single rose, he's on a blind date. So we don't have to get creative here. It's just a simple script. So we see that Mark is very nervous, and I'm trying to give the impression of a pretty above average looking guy, but he's not very confident. I mean, really think about it these days. You literally have to be a 10 or a 9 to get a date these days, right? So most of the guys are kind of lacking in confidence a lot because of the way society is these days. So this guy is a genuine good guy, as we've known, because we've gone through the script, and he's quite nervous to be on this date. So, title being sharp of mind, being quick witted, and being bored and playful. She instantly realizes, okay, this guy's pegged me for the wrong person here. So she's going to have some fun. She thought to herself, oh, okay, I'm going to have me some fun. And this line here, yes, finally, I was starting to think you got cold feet. Perfect. I think that's absolutely amazing because she's thrown herself right into the role there. No hesitation, no remorse, no further thought needed. She's just bang, she's in there, she's playing the game. And I like that about her. So, Mark, this is just all nervousness and everything else. I do want there to be some kind of chemistry between them. It's very important. It's crucial. It's crucial. So, before we actually film a shot, the two actors, I'm going to have a lot of rehearsal. When I say a lot of rehearsal, it's a very short script, so I'm talking a lot comparatively. So we could be rehearsing for about maybe 3 hours or something like that. So I want them to be absolutely good with each other. I want them to be familiar with each other, and I want them to be comfortable with each other because of this dynamic that I want to portray. So I also wanted to put in a little tiny bit of humour because, as I said, she's a modern woman. She's got a lot of craziness going on, a good craziness, mind you, going on upstairs in her head, and she's having fun, yeah? So she's full of jokes and good times. So she understands, as you can see, she's pegged Mark, he's nervous, and she's making the most of it. Like, so I want there to be some kind of jokes in there. So a little bit later on, Mark says he's very happy to be here, and it's great that they've taken a gamble, and I like this excitement. I mean, we never know. I could be an axe murderer. Why he would say that, it's a little bit bizarre, but okay, I like that though, because it's kind of shocking with my kind of sense of humour. A lot of my sense of humour is selfish. And when I say selfish, what I mean is the joke was for my entertainment. So I might say something that completely and utterly freaks somebody else out, and they're not amused by it or they're shocked by it. But inside my head, I'm reeling, I'm laughing my head off, and that's just the kind of guy that I am. So Mark's kind of got that personality too, and he says something quite bizarre, funny, but bizarre, and says, well, I could be an axe murderer. But title isn't your bog standard run of the mill ordinary woman. She's having fun. She's a woman of the world. So she hits him back with something even more bizarre. And so she compounds the outlandish conversation by pointing down at her crotch and saying, and for all you know, I could have a thick one down here. And this is taken by Mark in the most perfect way. He's joking, he's friendly, he's playful. He just absorbs that and takes it and turns it into a compliment as well. And he says something quite nice, quite profound. And it cracks the facade that Title's putting up. So he's able to penetrate and get through to the person behind the mask. So Title looks up at him and sees his genuine kindness and sincerity, yada, yada, yada. So this here, what we're looking for is an actress who's very capable of acting with their eyes. We're obviously going to do a punch in on this bit so we can definitely 100% see that slight hesitation of where this is going, and is it going to be painful, and oh dear, I'm kind of falling for this guy, or I've got a little about this guy, you know? So the actress has to be able to act not just by saying lines. I needed to be able to portray emotion. I needed to be able to act with her eyes. Yeah, when you smile with your eyes and your mouth. When you act, a lot of the times you smile with your mouth. And we need the woman's emotions to come through on her eyes as well. Then this actress has to be able to transition from this playful attitude and demeanor that she's got into sudden realization of, oh, this is a nice guy and I'd really like talking to him, and where is this going, how's this going to end, I hope I don't hurt him. And then transition from that into a complete letdown of the whole honour, because what she does here is she suddenly stands up. She is nice, she reaches down, she taps him on the shoulder or taps his hand and says, your date's just walked in behind you. But it is kind of coldish what happens here, because this guy's putting all kinds into this. He's made a lot of effort going into it. So you can see how this could possibly damage the guy's rendezvous with his actual date. So it is kind of irresponsible, but okay. But she is able to just drop this and leave quite quickly because she doesn't really want to deal with the consequences. She doesn't want to deal with the fallout. She doesn't want any accountability for what's going to happen because it was just harmless fun, you know. But then she's sort of started genuinely liking the guy. So the actress has to be able to transition into something hands off and an escape, and also at the same time not doing it cruelly. So it's quite a tall order for an actress to do in a tiny 2 minute script. But these are the things that the director's going to have to look for in this actress when he's doing auditions. Okay, so what have we learned and what are we looking out for? So we know from the script that we need the atmosphere to be quite playful. No green in the shadows, no beatings, no violence, nothing like that. It's just your bog standard, everyday, ordinary situation. We know that we need a guy that's relatively good looking and can portray nervousness and anxiety extremely well. We want, and I think it's harder, we want to lean on the female here. We need a female to be quite beautiful. We need the female to be quite modern, tech savvy, up to date, open minded, playful, and a remarkable actor when it comes to facial expressions. Okay, so we're also going to want a third actor as well. So I want her to share the same appearance as the main actress. So we have a blonde woman, then she also has to be blonde. If she's slim, then she also has to be slim. If she's fair, then she also has to be fair. We want it to be so you could be excused for confusing two people, especially from pictures. And pictures today, they're quite heavily edited, different perspectives and everything else. So one would expect them to be slightly different. So as long as they share the same description, we're good. Great filmmaking is about making deliberate choices about characters and camera angles. I won't go into camera angles here. I'll do that in the next part of this to follow up because obviously this is just the script development and then we're going to go into the shot list and the storyboard. But again, great filmmaking is about deliberately making these decisions of what camera angle you're going to use and how it's going to combine, merge, and amplify the script. So, for example, if something strange happens and a guy falls over, you might want to go and do a Dutch tilt. So, all of these things are deliberately picked for the script. So that concludes the script breakdown of what the director needs to know and what the director needs to look for in the script. Stay tuned in and I'll have the camera shots for you next. And we're going to work all the way through into shooting the film. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and I will see you again soon.